Good evening and welcome to this edition of the Island Stats Football Show. I'm your host, Earl Basin. Joining me are co-hosts Macy O'Dell and Garrett Punchy Dill. We are awaiting the arrival of Keto Robinson, who is on her way. Gentlemen, some very interesting results today, especially in the Premier Division. When you start talking double digits and high eights, in the Premier Division. And we're just starting the second half of the season. It's still a lot of football to be played in the league. It's kind of worrying, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Gabby.
Good punch.
Earl, look at the results and the results that are achieved by what team, the teams what we heard today, and it's not by accident. Right. No, it's very worrying for the country. In terms of the clubs that are really failing, that are not doing well, and you can see by what's happening now. What we keep talking about, speaking about structure, about what's happening in this, what's happening in terms of clubs. Like if I could point like some to the Eagles, and whatever some of the Rangers, and some it's just and whatever the Crossroads today. It's about structure. It's about where are we going, and ask the questions about what has happened with these clubs. What has happened, and it's not by accident. It's about what has happened in the last 3 years. Where's the structure? And so these results are always going to be. This is what's going to happen in this country. I think it's almost like, if I could say this, sir, it's like being in Scotland. You got Rangers, Celtic, and then you get Hibernian, and then you get somebody else. But they just come along at once. But Rangers and Celtics are always going to be the dominant force in the football there, in Scottish football. What I am concerned about here is that it's happening with a lot of clubs here. It just happening with a lot of clubs. What we're talking about, Island Rangers, we're talking about some of the Eagles. We're now talking about Crossroads, right? And who else? I can go on the line here. A Boulevard, and I think that's what we're talking about here. And it's something that we have to address. And I've got something that I think might be touch on that subject. What we're talking about here.
I'll add to it. I'll flip the conversation. I'll flip the conversation by saying in 2004, I think 2004, 2005, me and Streaker being first-time coaches. Yeah, being first-time coaches won all the trophies. In the first time, won the Triple Crown with North Village. And I didn't consider us good coaches at that time because we were inexperienced. We were inexperienced and won everything. And the year before that, North Village had a bad season. They had a bad season. They was in disarray as we came to take it off. And I say that to say what that showed me at that time, that the league was so poor, the standard was so poor that these new coaches, inexperienced, can come and win everything. That was my first understanding that our quality of football was at a poor state. Because what was happening in my mind at that time is that I'm just not going to take Norfolk second division. We're not going to get relegated. And halfway through the season said, hey, we guys can win everything. So I say that to say that was the indication in 2004, 2005, the poor level of the league. And now you like Punchy says, this is not happening by accidents. Teams are taking 12. Teams are taking 8. Teams have got 11 players. It's a whole thing that we got to address to, and I'm going to use the word, to save our football. We know we have to save our cricket too. We want to save our major sports. We have to address it to save it.
Mm-hmm. Well, we're talking as we can run down the results from today. It was PHC Zebras 12, Somerset Eagles 0, Southampton Rangers 1, Robin Hood 2, Crossroads 0, North Village Rams 8, and at 6:30, the Devonshire Cougars will entertain St. George's Colts out at the Devonshire Recreation Club. That's the premier. And yesterday it was Somerset Trojans 0, Dandy Town Hornets 2. And then in the first division today, it was Island Rangers 0, Wolves 2, Paget Lions 0, Hamilton Parish 3, and Young Man Social Club 2, Vasco 2. Let's start off in the first division. Obviously, Parish are going up to Southampton Rangers to take on Paget. Paget struggling, obviously. Hamilton Parish are leading the charge in the league. An expected win for Hamilton Parish. Not so expected the scoreline though. I kind of expected Hamilton Parish to kind of run up on Paget, but Paget have over the last few weeks been playing stingy defense. But as with the firepower that Hamilton Parish have, I would have thought that it would have been a larger score.
Not necessarily, Earl. As I'm telling you that Paget has been playing some structured football.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't have the experience to win a game. They don't have the experience and the quality of player to win a game. But they're playing some structured football, and we can even say that about Rangers, right? That they didn't get a big score, although they can't win a game. Mm-hmm. So when structured football, and this is the conversation that we've been having, right, about structured football. When structured football even meets a Hamilton Parish with all that firepower, because the game is structured, you're not just going to beat the breath out of me. Mm-hmm. You're not going to be able to beat the breath out of me. I might not be able to win, but I'm structured enough where you have to outplay me and expose me. And if you're not got that, you're not going to get a big score. So that's how I rationalize that with Paget, because I've seen them play some structured football.
Off the top of your head, let me ask Punchy. Punchy, do you think some of the Hamilton Parish players would have had their eye on their upcoming FA Cup game, which is next week? Because they jumped out to a 2-0 lead early in the game, and then they kind of settled into themselves and then got a third goal right at the stroke of full time. But do you think some of them would have been looking past Paget to that next game?
It happens. That thought happens, yeah. It's like you go up there, okay, we're playing against Paget. We're going to get a positive result. It's almost like how much. And I'm not downplaying Paget's ability to be in this league playing against Hamilton Parish. Mm-hmm. But the point is that maybe they were probably like, okay, let's get through this game. How the result, it was 3-0, right? Am I correct?
Yeah, 3-0.
Okay, yeah. All right. Maybe we were thinking maybe it should have been 5 or 6 or 7, but but they still got a result.
Mm-hmm.
So just like in overseas, you're talking about the professional leagues, they get a result, they move on. Mm-hmm. I think Sergio knew that the result was achievable today. It's just about moving on and being ready for the next game, which is next week, which is going to be very, 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 very. I'll tell you, we're going to see. It's going to be some result next week. But again, the result was the 3 points mattered to Hamilton Parish, and right. It just those things, and I players to say, okay, let's get a result, finish off. We're looking for next week, and I think that's probably what happened today.
Yeah, and then of course the match between Social Club and Vasco ended in a 2-2 draw. Clearly, Social Club missing on an opportunity to close the gap on BAA, who are in second place, even more. I mean, they got a point, but they would have wanted a win. And Vasco, obviously, up and down season with 5 draws, got 5 points. So, Macy, were you surprised at that result?
Social Club is not for real. No, it's not surprising. This is the business end. Yeah. This is the business end of the season, and this is where it distinguishes the teams that are going to be serious. I mean, Social Club has been entertainers that have been pretenders through the season, and entertaining and pretending don't get you promotion, don't win you league titles. So they're showing now where they should have beat Vasco. Vasco struggled a week before to put players on the field, and now Social Club draws against Vasco when they need to beat them. But again, we go back to that conversation about we know Vasco's coach is going to bring a bit of structure, and without Social Club, while they have a bit of talent, if they don't have that structured and disciplined approach to break you down, this is what you get. You get Vasco that's it's been difficult for them to score, getting 2 goals against Social Club.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm glad we're talking about this because we're talking about structure. We're talking about next generation of footballers. Now, yesterday was the Jamboree down in Norfolk field, and it was very well. I'll talk about that later on. Anyway, we're talking about Vasco. Now, Vasco, I think it was on the 15th. They had like 17 players, and they lost to North Village. But I figured, well, they have a future.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had a future. They were very organized. They were dressed. I was like, wow, this is something. And a game of North Village also about structure, what we're talking about. So maybe with the result today with Vasco against Social Club, I don't see Social Club have a team down in the Jamboree. Right. If you get my point. It's about what's happening in structure. I think Vasco are heading in the right direction. Maybe the results are not going the way, and it won't because you're talking about the rebuilding that club. And don't forget what it was like when Gumbo and Dush, we're going back years now. So we're talking about the same thing in a small country like we have. Restructuring your program from your youth program. And Vasco, I think Vasco's got it right. I think they're heading in the right direction. Yeah. Now, because I'm saying this, sir, I'm also looking at what's happening with Hamilton Parish. What are the restructuring when they have to do? Okay, what are they going to be like next year? Where's the restructuring program? Where's the junior programs? And I think that's what we're talking about with Somerset Eagles and why we're looking at the results that we have seen today. Just unbelievable. So restructuring is about, in this country, it's everything. And you must also understand that we talked about this with Rangers. Where are the junior programs? What's coming next? Where's on the 17s? Where's on the 15s? Where's on the 12s? I'm saying, I want to ask strictly this question. Where's your players? Where's your next generation of players?
Yeah. And then the final first division game, Wolves traveled up to Malabar and beat Island Rangers 2-0. But both girls coming in the second half. Island Rangers were holding on for a while, but Wolves, were able to get the girls needed to continue their up and down season.
Typical, right?
Yeah.
Very, very typical. Couldn't see Island Rangers beating Wolves at this point in time. And at the end of the day, when both teams don't have structure, it now leads to who has the best players. And who has the best players are going to be Wolves.
Right.
And that individual piece comes in at the 12th hour when there's no structure there. And we can say both Wolves and Island Rangers lack a bit of structure, so they're very reliant on the good player and the good individual. And Wolves' good individual shows up at the right time to get the result for them.
Yeah, definitely. But we're going to take our first commercial break, and when we come back, we'll jump into that 12 girls at PHC Stadium with PHC defeating Somerset Eagles. We'll be right back.
Putting down the weapons.
Our old friends Arrowhead Mills was founded in the 1960s in the famous Texas Panhandle with the ambition to promote the production and use of pesticide-free grains, cereals, and pulses. The mission was to bring the most wholesome food attainable to the mainstream markets. Since then, Arrowhead Mills has increased its range of products, most of which are certified organic. You can be sure that Arrowhead Mills know a thing or two about good eats. This month, we're featuring Arrowhead Mills green and red organic lentils. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
And welcome back. Obviously, the first meeting between the two teams, PHC won 6-1 up at White Hill Field. PHC have since that early season falter, we're looking to stay in close contact with the Dennytown Hornets. But you only get 3 points no matter what the score is. But 12 goals. Boy, oh boy, you had Antoine Russell getting 5. You had Trey Mean getting 2, Enrico Russell getting 2, Marco Warren getting 1. When you start seeing the shared amount of goals throughout PHC, they now have 3 players on 9 goals this season.
Yeah, I mean, to me, PHC's been threatening to beat a team like this for a long time. I actually thought they should have beat all the teams like that. I thought they should have been handsome and been able to beat all the teams throughout the season. Remember, at the beginning of the season, I picked PHC not to lose a game because I saw the structure and the firepower that they had at their disposal. They took a mid-season wobble, which they seem to have recovered from, and they're coming strong towards the business end of the season, and they're sending serious messages, right? 12-0 is a serious message, but it's also a disturbing message in that 12-0 to think that at this premier level, a one team could beat another team by 12. That's like mini minor scores and Pee Wee League scores where you're ranking up 12 goals, right? But it also that's the frightening part of what's happening with the quality of our league right now. But it doesn't surprise me that they got 12, and game on for them and Dennytown, who's going to win this league, right? And the other teams, they're pretty much relegated now. That's it, right?
It'll be interesting to see how Somerset Eagles kind of recover from this. They have a FA Cup game next week. One that they could possibly win, but you have to. It'll be very interesting to see how they bounce back from this. Punchy, your thoughts?
I thought I had a, when I saw them beat Norfolk at the 1-0, I thought they did the right things. They came down for good plan, and they scored the goal in the last 3 or 4 minutes. I thought that, okay, this is some building blocks, sir, for Somerset Eagles. Also, having Gary Darrell there as just having this consultant.
Right. My
concern would be now is that, what was Gary there today? What is really happening there at Somerset Eagles? And that's my concern about the structure of clubs. Again, about a team like Somerset Eagles, who've been promoted, and on any given day, the 12-0, they like if they can be. Look at the scores. Look at the amount of goals that they conceded. So, along with Gary Darrell, if Gary Darrell was with someone else, more like Dennytown or Norfolk, as somebody who just somebody gives some information. What is going on up there is my concern, and we're concerned for the country. That's what we must be concerned about. Yeah, because 12-0 doesn't really help PHC winning. What it does? No, not really. Come on, that's like you said, it's like a mini minor game. What it does it really? What does it do? It makes it level of our competition in that league now, in our league now, looks so like 5 to 4 teams. And we're going back to what I said earlier in this program, like in Scotland or Northern Ireland. It looks like that's what's happening in this country. And the rest of them are going to be like the 5th and 6th team are going to be okay, yeah. But what's happened to the last 3? the last 4. And we're talking about structure, and that's what's happening now. That's what I see. And I'm really, you knew it was coming. You can't show up with 11 players. And when you're home, you show up with 11 players. And then you can get a result. It ain't gonna work. It doesn't work that way.
Yeah. Before I let Coach Keita come in, and we're talking about the PHC Summers Eagles game, Punchy, you mentioned the girls against. Well, Crossroads have led in 46, Rangers have led in 49, and Summers Eagles have led in 46 as well. You know, when your goal difference is minus 32, minus 37, minus 32, you got to be at the wrong end of the table, you know, looking at that. And clearly, with what Eagles took today, they were minus 20, but 12 today make them minus 32. Coach Keita, welcome. We're discussing the school line at PHC, where PHC won 12-0. Shaking your head.
I 12 nothing. Premier League football.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. I would be very interested in knowing what tactics have. How was it? What was the score at halftime?
5-0.
Because at 5-0, you don't chase the game anymore, right? No, you gotta work on having a good defensive tactic block. You gotta change the formation and kind of save face. If you get a counterattack and can go and try to score, that's one thing. But at 5-0 at the half, you're not coming back from that. Yeah, not against PHP. You're not coming back from that. And I would be very interested in knowing what the tactics for that match was afterwards. I would love to know the mindset of the players. You know, the mentality of the players at 5-0. Well, what do we do? You know, it's huge in this country, and I right now have one mental strength conditioning coach, in Martin Wolf, and you know, I see week in and week out where teams lack that mental capacity to deal with such situations, right? At 5-0, you're not still getting trying to score goals. And I'm front football, but at 5-0, at halftime, I'm now going back in and I'm saying you're not gonna fix everything at halftime, coach. So 1, 2, or 3 points, probably put somebody or two bodies on the danger person. You know what I mean? I don't know where the girls came from for PAC, but tactically, he now has to figure out a defensive block, which will be definitely a low block. Play just outside your 18-yard box, just inside your 18-yard box, and protect the goal, because now it's about saving face. And goal difference, as you mentioned, you know, if you're at that end of the table now, you know, it may come down to goal difference. And taking 12 in the Premier League is pretty rough. That's a lot of goals.
A lot of goals. We're talking about a lot of goals. Down at Garrison Field, North Village had a 6-0 lead in the first half, and ended up winning 8-0 against Crossroads. Another big score. That's 2 games. That's 180 minutes, and you got 20 goals.
Speaking of tactics again, right? So you lose 6-0 in the first half, and you lose 2-0 in the second half. I wasn't able to attend that match. Did Uncle Ponce, did you get down there?
No, I didn't.
No, you didn't. So again, I would think that the Village took their foot off the pedal, or Crossroads tactically did a few things differently. Whereas in the PAC game, you lost 5-0 in the first half and 7-0 in the second half. Yeah. So I would think that tactically, Crossroads might have did something differently, or North Village may have played some, you know, they don't have a lot of subs, but they may have played some people that haven't had much time on the field. But of course, I'm smiling. That's a great result. I'm just happy North Village scored 8 goals. You know, that we can score eight goals in a match.
They should have seen it.
That's a good feeling.
We've been talking about this for the entire season, the struggles of North Village scoring multitude of goals in games, and here they are in this one game getting 8. Last week they were They were shut out by St. George's. You know, they're scoring 1 goal here, 2 goals there. But would that be a relief now that for the coaching staff that they can score multiple goals in a game, regardless of who the competition is?
Yeah.
Man, I would have to put it in its context.
Oh, Patches was at the game too. That might have been the good luck.
Put it in its context. You have to look at who you're playing against, right, and where they're at. And we're talked about Crossroads not being able to stop goals all season, you know, and we're also talking about Norfolk not being able to score many goals all season. So here it is, a team that can score goals and a team can stop goals, and is 8 goals scored. So that again speaks to the poorness of the match, right? And the poorness of the opposition to give up 8 goals. And to Keita's point, okay, when do you consolidate? Like, when do you consolidate and say, you say, well, look, we're not going to give up any goals. When do you take that approach? And it seems that both these high schools haven't taken that approach. And I think the word that I like to use is naivety and arrogance, to think that, because I know there are coaches that believe at 5-0 they can have time, they can turn it around. I know there's a belief. Yeah, so I'm down 5-0. All I need is the next goal, and I'm going to turn this around. And that's a level of arrogance and naivety, two things that don't go well together.
Oh, yeah. That's what my concern about this coaching, the coaching staff at both of those clubs, that don't understand that when you're 5-0 down, what you should do to make sure, okay, we're not going to be totally embarrassed. We're going to set up shop, and you're not going to get another goal against us. And the coaching staff, we have to look at what's happening at Somerset Eagles and what's happening at Crossroads in terms of these results that happened today. Who's in charge of those teams? Who's making decisions? Why don't you understand that you can, if you're 5-0 down at halftime, what are you going to do for the second half? Because it wouldn't happen with BAA, and it wouldn't happen with Hamilton Parish. It just ain't going to happen. So are we talking about now about quality of players, or are we talking to people in charge of teams that don't know exactly what to do? And that's questionable. And that's the question I want to ask. The people in charge of Somerset Eagles, do you know what to do when you're 5-0 down against PHC up there and you say, no, this ain't happening no more. We're not going to be embarrassed like this here. And the same thing with Crossroads. And you keep watching Crossroads results. They kind of, next week, who they playing against next week?
They're in the FA next week.
FA. Yeah, so it's so inconsistent. It's so inconsistent from them. For Crossroads, not so much. It's really about Somerset Eagles. I understand that now, but the point is disconcerting to me for the fact that what's happening for the country. I keep saying that if people in charge of teams, coaches in charge of the teams, don't make an effort to know exactly what's required, even if you don't have the staff, that what's required for you to do the right thing, say, nope, we're shutting it down right now. And so that's another question I got to ask now. Who are coaching these teams? And I said to you a couple of the early part of the show, when Crossroads were doing well, the person who was coaching them, Rocking guy, that left them to go to England. Who's in charge of this club now? Look at the results. Look what they're doing. What is their junior programs like? And so I find this is not a guessing game. It's not.
I was kind of surprised because despite, their match last week was abandoned. They were leading Rangers. Yes, they were playing Rangers. But when you score 4 goals as a team and you're struggling, morale is high. But that bubble would have been burst really, really quick down at Garrison, because, like I said, it was 6-0 halftime, with North Village scoring 4th, 10th, 16th, 18th, 22nd, 39th. When you start scoring as quickly as that, once you get into the change room, it's got to be some changes made. It's got to be something done. And then Village only scored in the 61st and the 85th. So structurally, there was some changes made, either on both sides, without seeing it.
Can I ask a question, Harold? Do you know if there were any red cards on Crossroads we have?
Not as of yet.
Not as of yet. No, and I asked that question because we go into Pride, right?
Mm-hmm.
We go into Pride. I don't know if there's a good thing or bad thing, but trust me, if I was taking that type of licks,
somebody's got to go.
Yeah, somebody's got to go. Somebody's got to go. Yeah, somebody's got to go.
That's the mentality of if I'm going to
somebody's got to go. Like somebody, I might end up with a red card or suspension. Just because I'm angry enough, or just because I'm embarrassed enough, or or whatever. Something's got to give.
Yeah.
We speak about, we speak obviously about the Crossroads and the Eagles teams, but let's speak on the positive side, the entertainment of the North Village and the PAC, right? I mean, I get it, the opposition poor, but it had to be some sort of entertainment, watching PHC and North Village. That's 20 girls. Yeah, it I can't imagine it being just a training session, right? So I can't wait to speak to someone. Who I know Patches was at the Village game. He takes every opportunity he can to go watch us play. So, still a fan. So I can't wait to, and I'll see him later on after his match tonight, and talk to him about talk to him about the game, right? But I like that we get to actually talk about something positively. That's a lot of girls, and as a striker myself, I really wish that I could. Was any of those games YouTube? What was the YouTube game today?
I don't know.
I really hope one of those was a YouTube game today, so that we can I can go back and watch. I really hope. Either one. I would like to watch 12/8, but I would like to watch Village over PAC. So either game, I'll be happy with watching. And just to see the quality of passing, like, was it, what I mean? Even though the opposition was poor, what was the quality of the teams? Because there had to be. I refuse to believe that it was just luck or just slouching through, making bad decisions and scoring 12 goals, right? So I would love to have seen that. And the other bright side, both goalkeepers got shutouts. 8-0, 12.
Well, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we're going to delve into the Dandytown Somerset game yesterday and obviously the Rangers Robin Hood game today. We'll be right back.
Amy's Kitchen is an independent organic food company, a family business who've been producing wholesome and flavorful foods over 30 years. From their first pot pie right up to 1 million meals a day, and firmly believe in the importance of TLC throughout the entire process. This month we're featuring a range of Amy's organic beans, refried and baked, chilies, medium, spicy and beyond, and a multitude of organic soups, minestrone, chunky tomato bisque, cream of mushroom, hearty Thai coconut, and much more. Lindo's, why anyplace else?
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Putting down the weapons.
And welcome back. Yesterday up at Somerset Cricket Club, the Dandytown Hornets defeated the Somerset Trojans 2-0. Obviously, Jomar would have wanted to have a better result against his former team, but Somerset continued that struggle. Mason, you saw a bit of that game?
Yeah, I tell you what, I want to just go back to, first of all, the Dandytown and Devonshire Cougars game, Old Iraq. It was nice to see their game being put on the lights last week, Sunday, so we got another night view. So kudos to Devonshire Iraq for for getting themselves in position to do that. And the game finishes 2-all. But we have to talk about the video analysis that was got in place now. That was a penalty, an easy penalty miss that the referee missed that penalty call in the last minute of the game where it clearly hit the boy's hand and it wasn't seen. So that becomes the benefit of these games being filmed, and that is now needs to be a conversation that we have, and how do we improve that, So that's a good talking point, and that's the benefit of these, video analysis, because also was an article about, the BFA media rights program and stuff like that, and we need to debate as a country the pros and cons of both things and how we evolve things. So good, that's what video analysis or video shows. But as it relates to the game today, Danny Kahn has shown the mental, right? Because they had to suffer that setback the other night, and not having a penalty called in the last minute of the game, and they got the result over the line. It wasn't particularly a good game of football, but we're talking about the business end of the season now, and they're showing the strength during this business end of the season to get games across the line, to get results across the line. Kudos has to go to the Danny-Town goalkeeper, Mendes, because he made a string of saves in the first half to keep the scores even and give his team the platform to win the game. And now let's talk about who scored. Sequoia Robinson, as well as Angelo. These are the experienced business players. So they're getting the business done in the business half of the season. So that is starting to paint this picture, right? It's starting to paint this picture where these business type players that have a bit of experience are stepping up in the right times to get the results across the line. It's going to be interesting to see what happens when they meet PHC, because I think this time around PHC could beat them. But it just makes it for an exciting finish, right? It makes it for an exciting finish. Who's going to win the league this year?
Yeah, definitely. I felt Somerset at times clearly out hustled and controlled things for a little bit in spurts in the first half, but just could not find the back of the net, which is a struggle. Punchy, hearing that Somerset would have failed to score at home, created several chances. I mean, and basically just said it that Jaden Mendes made several saves in the first half to deny them, but not hitting the back of the net. And I'm pretty sure, Maceo, there were enough times where they had opportunities to do so with ease.
Yeah.
They either had it saved or they missed the entire goal.
No, well, it's similar to we're talking about creating chances and not finishing chances. I think this is if I go back to St. George's, I discussed that with the people watching St. George's play, and I think they've come up with the same problem at times. They should have won their game against Devonshire Colts convincingly the other night on Devonshire, right? Definitely outplayed them. If you were to kind of take statistics sometimes and once the chances they created, convincingly, their game should have been like 5 or 6-1. So again, that's Somerset's, Somerset's always going to create chances at when they're home, but finishing, but making sure that you do those chances you take, very important. And it may have been a different, maybe that result could have been a 2-2 if they take the chances. And I thought a lot of teams, some teams are now do suffer from that. And getting back to PHC, I think PHC is hitting another level now. Even the 12 goals they scored, and like Hito said, okay, let's see exactly how those goals were scored. And so it's gonna be interesting. I think PHC have a lot. They're coming back on strong now. They're coming back. Whatever they've been through, it's coming back to that. The finishing prowess is gonna show. It's been interesting, even when they have to play against any time. That maybe they just have a little bit more.
Yeah. Keita, you know the Danny Town coach very well, and Aaron Dankins, and He had a few youngsters out on the field yesterday, but structurally they kind of just did the job that was required. Him being that calm person in making sure that his players stay within the system. How often does he talk about that?
I'm sorry, how often does he
talk about that?
Yeah, we talked about this, but before we get to that, the Dandytown Cougars game. So Francis is our fitness instructor Sunday mornings. So Dan, Aaron, and myself are standing there this morning, and we're talking about the penalty for the handball in the United game yesterday, Friday.
Right.
So we're talking, and Francis hears us. He's like, "Yeah, I saw that. Everybody saw that." Vance and Aaron looked at each other and said, and they started laughing, right? They're like, but you can see the one that was 2 feet away from you, you know. But I respected what Aaron had to say the next day in the paper, right? He said, yes, obviously everybody saw that it was a penalty, but Dandytown could have won the game, and that penalty would have made no difference, right? So, you know, I like his approach in not going at the official, but you know, going at not going at, but letting his players know that, guys, we had the game in our hands, and we let it slip away. And I asked him, I said, first thing I say to him when I see him Sundays, listen, when he plays on a Saturday, did you get me points yesterday? I don't even know you got me points because I'm winning right now. Did you beat Somerset? And he's like, yeah, 2-0. And he said, you know, Dandytown's pretty scary right now because, you know, they have people that I think somebody has a red card and someone wasn't able to play. And then they're still bringing it and they're blooding those youngsters, right? So he's had 2 youngsters that he brought on, and he wasn't bothered at all. He was like, oh, okay, well, Sequoia coaches the under-17s, and, you know, they had the conversation and bring them on and let them play, you know. And so I really do like what Dandytown's doing. Like, whoever has Dandytown next week might have a little edge because I'm going to have the big dog with me in Jamaica. So they might stand a chance, you know, but no, Dandytown is definitely, they're doing what they should be doing. And it's just good to see that, though, right? You want to see some consistency in local football because we talk about the improvement of local football, and Dandytown is doing the things that they need to do. Happy for Sequoia. You know, they said him, and since he's been back, I mean, he's just on fire, right? And that's what you want to see. You want to see that a national coach as well as, you know, still part of the national setup. So yeah, you know, Dankins holds a lot of cards close to his chest. I try to pick his brain. I don't pick it for Village or anything. I pick it for the women's national team. So he gives me what I need, and I'm happy with that. You know, so yeah, you know, I'm happy for him, you know, as his colleague.
Sure. And then, of course, well, we had those 2 midweek games that we would do the Sunday night, and then the midweek games with Somerset and Robin Hood drawing 1-1, and St. George's, and then the Devonshire Colts drawing 1-1. But today,
wait, Somerset and Robin Hood drew 1-1.
Was it 1-1? Yes.
Somerset and Robin Hood.
Yes, it was 1-1.
I was sitting there trying to think. I was like, I know I didn't say that Dandytown, Somers was going to be Dandytown, but I remember thinking that I picked Somerset to win because I said that they will bounce back from that Colts loss. Right. So it was that Robin Hood game.
Yes.
Somerset, I'm done, Somerset. I'm in again cup match. That's it. We're done. Just cup match.
Hold on. Let's stop that talk right now. But anyway, today up at Southampton Oval, Southampton Rangers only had 11 players available today. We're 0-0 at the half with Robin Hood. They're up 1-0, but Robin Hood would score 2 goals, one in injury time to win 2-1. But looking at the Southampton Rangers season right now, only having 11 players available, I think some of those players have already thrown in the towel as to say, that's it, I'm done. But remember, they had the 2 players sent off last week, so that would have made. But still, if you can't get anyone on the bench where Streaker's now back in goal, you have a big problem, don't you?
Well, it's the same thing we're talking about. The Somerset Eagles shouldn't have 11 players. You know, what if? Yeah, let's go back to 4 years when Joe Mar was there, and when Trey Mean was playing for them, and you know what has really happened up at that club, and it just shows us what's happening in this country. in terms of structure. And we keep using this word over and again: structure, rebuilding, vision. I applaud Streaker for his ability to kind of even take on that job. But his job is so hard in terms of what Rangers is going to be in the next couple of years. I'm always asking, what are going to be in the next couple of years? What is the future? And I say to you guys, I say this over and over again: if you don't have a structured junior program, under 17 program, and then, well, where you going? I mean, when you get so many players leaving you, what's the next step for you? So this is not guessing. This is simple mathematics. You're not going to program. You don't have a structured program. There's no under 17. What is the future of your club? And the same thing we're saying to Sons of Eagles. It's very simple to understand. It really is. And I don't think that's what we're seeing now. We keep talking about the same things. It's with the same clubs, and it's getting worse. It's not getting better as the season looms on. Yeah, it's getting worse.
Mace?
Yeah, I mean, speaking strictly from a football standpoint, Rangers are starting to only lose games from the old girls, right? They're not, since, remember, let's just talk about the beginning of the season where they was losing 9-0, right? And I'm just having this conversation based on structure and coaching. When structure and coaching comes in, okay, now you got to beat me. You got to literally beat me. I'm not going to give up 12 and 9 goals anymore. So that speaks to the coaching piece of it. But quite rightly, as Bunchy speaks about what assistance that the club gets to push that program along, because I don't see Rangers getting an influx of players next year. And the conversation that I think is necessary in Bermuda now of our clubs of how do we consolidate teams. I speak about Patrick and Rangers being one team, based on the players. I speak about Island Rangers and Somerset Eagles, for St. George's and St. David's. Nobody don't like those conversations, but we don't have enough quality of players, or now we don't even have enough players to fill our Premier League, and it's undermining the foundation, it's bringing the game into disrepute because we don't have enough players to play the game. And I don't buy into the excuse. I don't buy into the idea that they said, okay, players are going to be to university and this, because that's been happening in Bermuda since Noah built the Hawk, and it's just been a supplement of new players coming through because you're developing them and people playing the game. This country is actually losing people to the game of football. It's losing people to the game of football. And I mean, I have a statistic in front of me, my time at North Village, that when the youth program had 150 kids from the ages of 4 up to the ages of 18. And I could tell you out of those 150 kids, only 10% of those kids even play the game of football. Only 10% of those kids play the game of football. That's a problem. It's a big problem. We're losing kids to the game of football. Why?
Coach?
Yeah, I mean, it's so disheartening, right? 11 players, and that was the thing, right? So with them walking off the field, that was the last match they played. They walked off the field, correct? Mm-hmm. My thing would be, was there a meeting called? Was there a meeting called with the team right away? Like, that meeting had to be called Monday, and players held accountable. Everyone held accountable who allowed that to happen, and the conversation of what's next. What's our next steps, guys? What do you guys want to do? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Streaker, you're wasting your time. Now you're wasting your time. Now you're really wasting your time on persons that are not even respecting whatever process you may have in place. He is aware of what he was taking on. He is aware of lack of junior players. He is aware that many players left the club for whatever reason. But again, Rangers have to now look for someone who's going to be there for longevity. They have to look for someone who wants to put something in place so that when that person is no longer there, it's still very well structured. And I will use myself, Vance, and Aaron. We're not going to be coaching in the women's national program. We're not going to be coaching these teams forever. But what we are doing is we're making sure that whoever comes behind us don't have to work as hard as we had to work. Whoever comes behind us should still have the same success. Too often, we only want to be a place or where we are to be successful when we are in charge. And that is what's tricky. That's what's scary, is that Rangers haven't figured out a way to find a person who wants to build something at Rangers, not just to have immediate success. Taking Jomar on, I guess, immediate success. You know, when Jomar left, a lot of people left. All right. You know, is there a conversation when I leave? No, you guys, listen, we had a good foundation. You guys should stick together. I'm moving on because I'm moving on for Pastors Green, for my growth. All right. And that's the tricky part. And that's why Rangers now is in a spot of bother, because they're getting things in place for the moment. There's no, and I'll say it every week on the show, I said it last, if you don't have a plan, if you don't have someone who wants to sacrifice the time to build this club, then, you know, to have only 11 players in the Premier League, I mean, I cringe sometimes when I see 3 subs on the bench, but to have none and your coach has to play, you know, it's heartbreaking. It's very heartbreaking. And, you know, I remember 2 years ago, Rangers was Donny Park beating North Village. You know, I was standing outside the fence, my heart broken. And to go from that to now he just barely been able to field a team. It's very sad.
Definitely. Well, we're going to take another commercial break, and when we come back, we'll look at our picks and then obviously look into the FA Cup, which will start next week. And of course, we'll hopefully get an update from out the Devonshire Recreation Club. We'll be right back.
My inspiration to write this book has to do with empowering. I want people to understand what it looks like when you are in a position when you don't have the tools around you. If you know me or don't know me, the game, the beautiful game of football, soccer, is and always was a way out. Still fearful on what to do, what would happen if I say something.
What can we do in this book to incorporate tools to help specifically our group of young people in Bermuda?
Could you imagine doing a read with little people and breaking everything down for them and having them to have a voice and having conversation pieces, if it's chapter by chapter?
Putting down the weapons.
John Barrett & Son, home of Bermuda's best beverages, is starting the new year with an exciting new beverage, Numa, the organic sport hydration drink. Founded by brothers Brandon and Jared, both pro hockey players, Numa stands for No More Artificials and is an organic plant-based sports drink with real ingredients like organic coconut water and Himalayan pink salt. Numa partnered with fitness groups in the USA early in their development and expertly responded to the call for purity and simplicity. Try all flavors of Numa organic sports drink this month. Lindo's, why go anyplace else?
And welcome back. Well, let's go quickly to the results from last week, where Dandytown and Devonshire Cougars drew 2-2. We all picked the Dandytown Hornets to win that match. That was Sunday evening. And then starting this week, Robin Hood versus the Somerset Trojans. Only Maceo picked a draw. So he had one there. Devonshire Colts and St. George's. We all took St. George's. And then yesterday was Somerset Trojans and Dandytown. We all took Dandytown 2-0. They won that. PHC over Somerset Eagles. We all took PHC. We all took Robin Hood over Southampton Rangers. And we all took North Village over Crossroads, and as we said, the Devonshire Cougars and St. George's match is on as we speak. Myself, Maceo, and Keita all took Wolves. Punchy, you took Island Rangers, and that was 2-0 to Wolves. Vasco and Social Club, we all took Social Club. That match ended in a 2-2 draw. And then Paget Lions and Hamilton Parish, we all took Hamilton Parish. The Boulevard St. David's match has been moved to Tuesday night, so we'll carry that over. But let's quickly jump into what's expected to be a very entertaining and interesting week of football, because on Friday night, out at the Devonshire Recreation Club in the FA Challenge Cup, Devonshire Cougars will host BAA. Maceo.
They'll beat BA. They'll beat BA.
Say, Maceo got that one.
Yeah, they'll beat BA. Come on, you're getting out to Dan at nighttime on Friday. I want to see somebody shake the fence, get up on the fence and just start shaking it. Those kids at BA is not going to be able to handle that if somebody starts shaking the fence. Where's Hunter when I need him? Where's Hammer when I need him to go up and just shake the fence? Just rattle the fence out the ultra.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna go with Cougars for that one.
Yeah, I've taken Cougars as well. Punchy?
Yeah, it's Cougars on a Friday night. I'd say yeah. I mean, I just come back with a lot of tactics and how is this formation is going to be, but not on a Friday night on Devonshire Rack.
Sure.
I'm picking Cougars for that.
Okay. The next match, Coach Kitty, you're first. It's Saturday up at Southampton Oval. Southampton Rangers will face the Boulevard Blazers.
Jesus.
But Boulevard's can have more than 11 players. So even if Rangers go ahead, they can get tired. So I'm gonna go with Boulevard on that one.
I think the Rangers players will come back for this one and they'll win this one. Rangers. Punchy?
I did say a couple of weeks ago that these draws are going to be very interesting. Mm-hmm. And I think this is a very interesting one. I'm picking Boulevard to beat them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's gonna be yeah. I'm picking Boulevard for this one.
Maceo?
Boulevard, a small field, the tactical players and the creativity is going to come in. You know, Boulevard's not going to run far to the goal. You know, Streaker has to be in goal, man. Those Boulevard kids are not going to give any respect to that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm picking Boulevard.
Okay, all right. The next match on Saturday night at 8 p.m. up at the Somerset Cricket Club. Somerset Trojans host Hamilton Parish. I've taken the Trojans. Punchy?
Oh my, yeah.
I think
I'm going back to what we talked about, these night games and, but these other promoted teams, these so-called teams that are going to be in promotion. Mm-hmm. When they play these matches, it's going to be something to yeah. I'm a little bit Trojans on this also.
Okay. Maceo?
This is the nail in Jamal's coffin. This is the nail right here. Yeah. So, again, a structured team that can win games versus Jamal trying to entertain a Denny Town style up in Somerset that's not structured, that's struggling to win games. I'm picking Hamilton Parish, and this is the nail in his coffin. The Undertaker's already out up Somerset for Jamal. And
okay. Coach?
Yeah, this one should have been cut and dry, innit? This should just been a simple. We shouldn't even have to spend time on this conversation. This game was in October. We would have been cut and dry, huh? Somerset. I'm gonna go Hamilton Parish.
You just said
I'm gonna go Hamilton Parish. Someone let me know 2 weeks in. I'm gonna go Hamilton Parish now. Somerset, okay. I'll gladly lose my point if you could beat them, but I'm going Hamilton Parish.
Okay. Now, then on Sunday at Lords and St. David's will host Robin Hood. Punchy?
It is Robin Hood. I'm good with Robin Hood for that. Definitely. They will. Yeah, they'll take full advantage. They'll take full advantage of. I think there's just too much quality, too much organization. It'd be a good day for St. Davis. It'd be a good outing for him. But Robin Hood will be in that game.
Sure. Maceo?
I have a strange feeling about this game. You know, I have a strange feeling about what the Billy Bystander can do. Yeah, but I'm not voting with my heart and my strange. You know, Robin Hood's gonna. I'm not voting with my heart.
Coach, you want to write this one down?
I just had to ask Rich Sammy. He was in the kitchen a minute ago. He's going downstairs. He went downstairs. He ain't watching again. No, Robin Hood. Like Robin Hood's gonna beat St. David's.
Okay. And then it's I've taken Robin Hood as well. Then it is Wolves in St. George's taking on Somerset Eagles. Maceo, you are first.
Thank you. I'm gonna have you, Maceo. I'm gonna have Maceo. Whatever Maceo says, that's my pick too.
These become very tricky, innit, man? These become.
That's why I said whatever Maceo says, put me down for that.
These become very, very, very tricky. Okay, Wolves is. I'm gonna try to make rational sense of it. Wolves is gave up that they're gonna win the league, right? Or they're gonna get promoted. So because they gave up that, they one thing about a good player, they want to prove to you when you doubt them that they're still a good player. Like even me playing for the Rams and no training, I knew I had one run a half, and I was saving that one run in the half to show you that I still know how to play football. You can doubt me for the rest of the 89 minutes, but I'll just teach you that I can play this game. Wolves is gonna teach them that they can play this game. I'm gonna pick Wolves. They're gonna teach them that they still can play the game.
There you go. That's my pick.
I got you done. Well,
thank you.
I'm gonna take it that Somerset Eagles want to salvage something out of this season, and not losing to a first division team is one of those things that they will want to ensure that they don't do. And for that, I'm picking Somerset Eagles. Punchy?
It's a show day for Wolves. It's simple. Somerset Eagles not coming all the way from up there and come down with 11 men or 12 men, whatever. But it's a show day for the Wolves. But that's when these players who are also unpredictable will show up. I'm picking Wolves for this.
Okay. All right. The next match at the PHC Stadium, PHC will host Crossroads.
Oh my gracious.
I'll go to the next game. Put on everybody's choice. Put on everybody's pick and go. What's the next one, Earl? What's the next one, Earl? We're not gonna discuss that. Yeah. I'm gonna have dinner. It's dinner timer.
So all four have taken PHC. All right. So you're up, Keita. At Wellington Oval, St. George's Colts host North Village.
Oh.
Whoa.
See, you should have picked last time. See, you should have picked first.
Which way you're good? Left or right first? You're good right or left? Which way you are?
Village good. Listen, no, Village will redeem themselves. Go right first.
Listen, Keita. Go ahead.
Village is gonna redeem themselves, man. I think that I can pick North Village with my heart and my head on this one. If I pick St. George's, it's only with my heart. And so I'm gonna go with North Village. I think that they will redeem themselves. They will look at, from what I know, they made some changes today in their team, looked at some people in different positions once they kind of had the game in the bag. So I think that's in preparation, for whatever mistakes they made against St. George's. And I think Kenny will have done his homework and will realize and will know what needs to happen. I'm going to go with North Village. Have to.
Right. Well, this game is the decider for the two teams this season because they played each other at home and both home teams have won. So for that, I'm going to pick St. George's because they'll make it 2 wins as a home team. Punchy?
I say go right or go left, and I'm in the middle. It's funny because when I look what happened last week, the way the goal was scored, they put the ball on the right side. I think Norfolk is still very poor on the right side defensively, very poor. So they attacked a lot of Norfolk on the right side, and I thought that's where the goal came from also. And I thought it came down to, I thought, in terms of just knowing that time's running out, let's get away with a draw. Let's get away with it. And I think with St. George's, that was really a turning point for them. That was really a turning point for them. I'm sorry, but I think I'm gonna go with St. George's on this one.
Okay. Maceo?
Hey, my heart's coming to this one.
You haven't been your heart all day.
Yeah, Village wins FA Cups, man. Come on, they got the most FA Cups, man. It's just part of the tradition at Village to win the FA Cup, man. That's just part of the tradition. But if you look at how St. George's beat Village last time, they pretty much said, okay, Village, we know how you play. Kenny, we know how you set up. We can keep you in front of us. You can play sideways and backwards. You're not gonna get behind us. And I'm gonna give my player, which is the guy, the goal scorer,
Jerron Dickinson.
Jerron, the opportunity to win a game with his ability late in the match. So they just matched St. George's. Matched Village and Capital in front of him. Surely Kenny would know that's how he was beat before. Surely he would create a different approach to be able to beat that, to be able to take St. George's. But you know what? He's not going to take a different approach to beat St. George's. He's married to the way how he likes the game, and nothing wrong with that if you can get the results or the right. But how I'm justifying picking St. George's, because I'm going to pick St. George's. How I'm justifying picking them is that they got a North Phillies guy sitting on the bench. So that's how I'm justifying it.
Earl, and just add to this.
I'm picking St. George's to beat North Phillies.
Yeah, and Earl, and the other thing is that a lot of things hinges on this game this week coming up. In terms of, both teams are not going to win the league. That's for sure.
Right.
So I think St. George is stealing the friendship. Are they stealing the friendship?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So it's like all out for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know the survivors attack for the first division. They're not. It's definitely not going to be demoted. Right. So I just think that there's a little bit more edge to them what they have to for this week coming up.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying to you guys, and I keep harping on this fact that this is not by accident. When you got the coaching system at St. George's now, what I see happening there, it's like they have a real good plan. I don't know what's going to happen tonight. I don't know what their score is tonight out Devonshire Rec. I'm sure they came with what they would. But the Hun. And what I saw last week in terms of what they did, they shuffled around what Macy was saying was Kenny in terms of like, okay, he'll stick to that and let's see what comes out of that. But I think St. George's shuffled a bit and it made a difference, especially. I still think that Norfolk is still weak in a lot of departments and defensive in the wide areas on the back four.
Right.
And they really put a lot of pressure on the right-hand side. And that's where the goal came from. Right. So, again, adding to that, I think I'm going to stick with my prediction.
Okay.
Well, what time is that game? When is that game?
Sunday, 3 o'clock.
At 2:30.
3 o'clock. Yeah, I'll be in the middle of my practice, my practice match against Kaiser University. So I won't be able to brag. I won't be able to gloat until later. I'm gonna try to make the show. But 3-1.
Yeah.
All right. No problem.
At 6:30, the final match will take place at BAA Field, where Dandytown Hornets will host the Devonshire Colts. I'm going with the Hornets.
Yeah.
Punchy?
I'm going with the Devonshire. I'm going with the Hornets too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mason?
I didn't walk in winning right now, man. That coaching staff out Dandytown is doing a good job in blooding in new people, and I seem like for me it seems like they're walking on a tightrope with everything, and it potentially seems like they'll turn off for the FA because the league is going to be a little bit more important to them. Also, as I mentioned earlier on the show, the fact that their head coach is going to be leaving the island for a bit with the national team, and how that piece of the puzzle is going to impact them.
Okay. So guess what it now becomes?
Yeah.
You Ray versus Jay show.
Yeah. No, this is wrong game with this, right? This is wrong. This is exactly wrong game with this.
Nobody's worried about what happens on the field. Look at the sideline.
It might not even be about what's happening on the field, right? It might not be about, Jay and Ray have a serious history of friendship and football over the years. Have grown up at culture. Might not. So this is making me iffy about how I see this game. It seems that it should be straightforward. It seems that it should be straightforward for Danny Ton to win this game, but I don't see it as that straightforwardness. But I'm gonna stick with my football here. I'm not gonna stick with my conspiracy theorists on this type of game, and stick with my football here. And what's been factual is that Danny Ton get across the line.
Sure.
And they'll get this game across the line.
Sure. Coach Keita?
I didn't know who Danny Ton here, but even though Dankins will be with me, the Danny Ton is going to be coached. It's just the quality of Danny Ton players. Jay and Ray can do whatever they have to do on his side. It's just a difference in quality in players, and that's not to say that Colts don't have any good players, but with the form that Ton's in right now, with their training habits, it's Ton's in a different space than most of the other teams on the island, and so Dankins will have spent this week here doing all that he has to do, and Jay, is obviously capable of getting across the line. Don't forget the Bob Boyles is still on island, who is the guru, right? So, Danny Ton that's not even going to be a question. So Dankins and I be celebrating together after we beat Kaiser University and Village beat St. George's and Tom beat Colts, and I'll be looking forward to this show Sunday.
Hold on, didn't you pick St. George's, didn't you?
No,
I'm the only one who picked North Village. I'm the only one who picked North Village.
I might get a text pretty soon. I'm getting a text pretty soon.
Well, we come to the part where
I'm gonna get a text pretty soon. Yeah, don't worry, it's coming.
Goslins has charted us with picking a player of the week for this week, and prior to you guys coming on, we had discussed with Antoine Russell's 4 goals for PHC today up at PHC Stadium. He will be the first Goslins player of the week, and going forward, we'll be picking a player of the week because we'll get to discuss before the show the standout players, and then just announce the winner. And then, of course, we'll do the monthly one as well. Okay.
So, what is the criteria for that? I mean, we don't get to go see the games. Are we just picking the person who scores those goals? What's the criteria?
Outstanding performances. I mean, we Macy and I had talked. We watched I watched a bit of the Somerset Dandytown game. Of course, I have people that attend games and will give me a little bit of information on.
Macy, do I still have a media pass somewhere?
It's in my taxi, actually.
You've been to my house, dude.
Where's
on your neck? That's why you turn in the gate. Put it on your neck, so you don't forget. Yeah, I mean, I'll attend the match as well and look up.
Okay.
There's something I want to add to the show tonight. About yesterday's jamboree at North Village Field. Kudos to North Village and what I saw there in terms of the up and coming. They started the game. I think it started at 10 o'clock. What I want to say is that, with what's happening with video, I'm just asking people to come out and watch these senior games. Support, it's not, just try to support what's happening, what the association is trying to do. And I noticed that yesterday's game down at the Jamboree at North Village, I thought it was well structured. Sunday football down there was very good. I'm telling you something, I was like, whoa. So again, kudos to Vasco. Again, what they're trying to achieve, and I clap them. Hands up to them. But I just want to applaud that particular. I think also the premier was there early. Supporting young footballers. A goal that was scored by one of my, I said my nephew, my great nephew, Kita. Kudos to him. Anyway, it was similar to the goal that was scored by And I tell you, such a great goal. I ain't gonna say anyway. What the young man scored for Liverpool today. It's similar. And I'm seeing what we're seeing here is that the future of the country, it must be supported. We need to have more jamborees. And I think the future of this country depends on our support for those programs. So we see where our young, and I'm telling you, it's a lot of good young footballers. And what is also, I want to hands up, the diversity of the teams. I'm telling you, it's like, whoa, mixed teams, white players playing with black. It's just unbelievable. So there's a future. I got to, that's what I'm saying to us. We must support this. Again, to the referee that refereed so many games yesterday. But we got to have the support. We must come out and support what's trying to restructure, especially for the young players.
Yes.
We will support this.
Yes.
And
I
it's
agree.
good young players coming through. And I'm supporting the coaches. Yeah, that's the future of this country. And again, kudos to that event.
Yes.
And once that, I keep saying to you, I would like to see PhD was down there, or the Worst Rangers, we got to keep thinking about this, This country needs, it's not just one event. That event that was happened before, just one event for everybody comes on this jamboree. No, it's going to happen over and over again, often enough. What happened last week, let's have it again. Next month, somewhere else, and it's got to happen so we can still see the progress of this country. And I'm telling you, it's happening. We just got to keep supporting it. And I beg of parents, come out and support your grandchildren. Support them. Come and watch them. Yeah. Come. Yeah. And
kudos to BFA. Just navigating the whole pandemic stuff. And the youth committee and all of that to actually get these games up and going. And I too was at North Village yesterday, and I watched the under 15s play North Village and Vasco, and like not even just the intensity, the fight, the grit. These guys were at each other. Football wise, they weren't giving each other space, and I watched North Village a few times under pressure, playing the ball out of the back, and it was like, the goalkeeper got the ball, looked for the center back, and then the number 6 dropped in, got the ball from the center back, turned, found the 7 or 11 or the 2 and the 5. I agree. We got to come out and support and watch. There's some intelligent football being played by the young people, and that's our future. So yeah, again, kudos to the association for getting the U5. Okay, from us, thank you, Vance. Getting it up and running, because there's all the future, and also just enjoy them. Go out and watch these kids play and just clap. I clapped so much yesterday. The kids on Vasco go to MSA, and then I was for North Village, and so I got to clap for both teams and just enjoy like some really good football, no pressure football, and like Uncle said, the talent coming through, and I'm sure that happened all over. I'm sure that was the Danitons and the PAC, and it's beautiful to see. Right. But as they get older, we start to lose them, as Maceo said, we start to lose them to other things. But I agree. Come out and support.
Yeah. Before we go, real quick, it's still 0-0 out at the Devonshire Recreation Club. But more importantly, Coach Keita, we want to wish you all the best. 2 important games coming up internationally. It's not going to be an easy task, but one I know you guys are preparing the best for. And all the best. We will be in touch.
Can you tell me the points? I need to know what the points are there before the show. You never gave us our final totals tonight.
I'm sorry.
I gotta know about that village in Georgia game. I gotta make sure.
I just took it down. I'm sorry, I just took it down. Let me quickly bring it back up.
This is the end of the season. People want to be enough.
You were leading by 2.
I'm leading by 2 still?
I'm leading by 2, Keita, yes.
And who am I leading?
You're leading both Punchy and
Maceo?
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I've got a strategic. I went with Maceo 1-1, so if we both lose, that's good. I'm good. I'm gonna play this one smart. But hey, guys, thank you very much. I will definitely try to jump on the show next week. As I said, I have a practice match in Florida. So I will definitely try to at 5 o'clock jump on, depending on where we are. We should be back by then. The match is early it's 11 o'clock in the morning, so we should be back in time for the show, and we'll update you on how we're going. But very strong team, very strong coaching staff, not even just coaches, but very strong staff, and we're excited. And thank you guys so much for continuing to support me. Uncle Ponte Maceo continue the mentors through. So thank you, and thank you, Bermuda, and we promise to make you proud.
All right. With that, we say good night, and again, good luck.
Thank you.